The CDC estimates that nearly 33% of people are not getting enough sleep. In other words, nearly 1 in every 3 people is sleep deprived. And being sleep deprived is more than just feeling tired. It can cause you to lose focus, have a weakened immune system, and even shorten your lifespan. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tyler Warlow, and I make videos on self-improvement tips. And in today's video, I figured I would talk about some science-backed ways that you can improve your sleep. And first off, I want to acknowledge that I am by no means an expert in this area. If you want to dive deeper into any of the topics that I talk about today, you should check out Dr. Matthew Walker, the author of Why We Sleep. He is one of the leading researchers in sleep science, and he has a ton of great material out there on why exactly we sleep and what we can do to improve it. So obviously first we need to talk about why sleep is so critical. And there's a few different reasons. First up, it's important for memory consolidation. In other words, your brain has to move your memories from your short-term memory into your long-term memory. Kind of think like how a file transfer happens on computers. This helps to prepare your brain to absorb brand new material in the next day. If we didn't get this reset, our brain would almost become overloaded with information and it would have trouble moving short-term memories into long-term memory. And it would cause you to forget things more readily over time. Secondly, sleep is incredibly important for emotional regulation. I'm sure that many of you understand the feeling of crankiness that you get whenever you had a bad night's sleep. While we are sleeping, our brain is working to process emotional information that it experienced throughout the day. And to overly simplify it, when your brain does this, it over time reduces the intensity of negative emotions, which can help to regulate your overall emotional well-being. And finally, sleep obviously helps your physical well-being by helping you to recover. When you are sleeping, your body isn't doing anything, and this is when it engages a lot of critical processes to help repair the body. So obviously sleep is important. So if you're struggling with it, what exactly can you do to help improve it? Well, first off, we're going to talk about consistency. Most people obsess about getting those 8 hours, but your body cares just as much about staying in a regular rhythm. Your body operates on something called the circadian rhythm. It's how your body knows when it should be awake and when it should be asleep. And if you're constantly changing when you're going to bed and waking up, your body doesn't really ever get into a good rhythm and understand when it is that it should be waking up. So if you're constantly changing when you're going to bed, like either going at 10 p.m. or then 1 a.m. the next night, your body can't really ever get into a rhythm and understand when it's supposed to be awake and when it's supposed to be asleep, which results when you wake up in you being groggy because your body's not really sure which state it should be in. But when you go to bed consistently at the same time and get up at the same time, even on weekends, your body starts to expect when you should be sleeping. This helps you to fall asleep faster and it allows your sleep to be deeper and more restorative. But even if you do have the perfect schedule down where you're getting enough sleep and consistently at the same times, there might be a few sneaky habits that are preventing you from really getting your best sleep. And one of the biggest culprits of that is going to be light. A lot of people like to look at their phone pretty much up until the point that they go to sleep. And what they don't realize is this is telling their body that they should be awake. And this is because of the blue light from the phone. This again ties back into the circadian rhythm because the brain expects when to be awake versus when to be asleep based on the type of light that it's experiencing. And when your body thinks that it's daylight, it suppresses the production of melatonin, which obviously is supposed to help you fall asleep. So when it comes to light, what you want to try and do is experience some natural light around when you first get up in the morning. And then as you're going to sleep, try to dim down the lights and have more warmer tones so you're not making your body think that it's still daylight outside. The next habit that might be getting you is going to be your caffeine consumption. I know that this personally affected me a lot in high school and college when I would drink a lot of caffeine to help me stay up later into the night to study. But then of course I would have a really hard time when I actually needed to fall asleep. And what this comes down to is the half-life of caffeine. caffeine has a half-life of nearly 6 hours. So it's going to still be half of it left in your body 6 hours after you consume it. So if you end up having a cup of coffee or espresso at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, you're going to still have that caffeine in your system at 10 p.m. at night. That's why it's generally recommended to have a cut-off time of your caffeine consumption. So that way you're not still experiencing it in your body, which will then help to keep you awake. And unfortunately, when most people are struggling to get some sleep like this because of their other habits, they will often turn to alcohol. Alcohol can actually help you to fall asleep pretty easily because it is a depressive, so that's why a lot of people turn to it. The truth of the matter is that even though it might help you to fall asleep, it will severely disrupt your sleep cycle. So it's going to make it so you fall into a lot less deep sleep, you might wake up more often, and you won't get as much REM sleep. So the sleep that you do get isn't going to be as restful and restorative as if you hadn't had that alcohol in the first place. So if you're already cutting back on those habits, you're already halfway there. But where you start seeing some real returns is when you start training your body to expect when to go to bed. So the next thing that you're going to want to do is build up some sort of wind down routine. This is going to help you to train your body to expect that sleep is coming. One of the key things here is that you want to try and eliminate any stressful experiences that you're having right before bed. So take this opportunity to do activities that help wind you down and get your mind off of stressful situations. This can be things like journaling, dimming the lights, sketching some in your book, whatever it is to help relax you. Whatever it is that you choose to do, the key is to try and do it as consistently as possible. When you regularly do these activities, your body is going to learn to expect that it is time to sleep, and you're going to find yourself winding down and potentially falling asleep much faster if you stick to these regular activities. And finally, one of the biggest things that you can do to improve your sleep is to improve your environment for sleeping. There's a few key things that you can do. First, you want to make your environment as cool as possible. Most people fall in a good range somewhere between the 60 to 68 degrees, but you want it to be cool because when your body is warm, that tells it to wake up. Next up, you're going to want to make sure that you have as little light in the room as possible. If this means getting some blackout curtains to block out any light from like street lamps or things like that, I highly advise that you do it because again, having no light is going to help your body know that it is time for it to sleep. And then you're going to want to try and have this environment as quiet as you can. For some people, you might need to use earplugs to help block out any external noises, but you want to have this so you're not getting disturbed by any random noises or clicking or things like that. If you do these three things together, they're already going to make a huge impact on how quickly you might be able to fall asleep and how deeply you'll sleep throughout the night. But a couple other things that you can do to help your body know that it's time to sleep is that, first off, only use your bedroom for when you need to sleep. Don't be using it for doing things like work or scrolling on your phone, because then your body comes to expect those activities when you are in the bedroom. Keep your bedroom to just sleep, and that way your body knows what to expect when it's entering that environment. And then finally, if you've ever had the experience of checking your clock constantly and seeing it get later and later in the night and you still haven't fallen asleep, and then by the next day you wake up feeling like you haven't slept at all, you're not alone. This is something that a lot of people experience. So if you can, try to eliminate any digital clock faces from the room. You can either get yourself an analog alarm clock or set your alarm across the room so you can't actually see the time. That way, if you do wake up in the middle of the night, you don't check the time and stress yourself out about what time it is. Still have an alarm because it's important that you have something that will wake you up, but that way you're not stressing about what time it is, if you've gotten enough sleep, etc., etc. So if you're looking for better energy, sharper focus, and better long-term health, start protecting your sleep. It's not just about getting more hours, it's also about creating the habits and an environment that can give you the best sleep possible. But that's going to bring us to the end of today's video. If you found the information in it to be helpful or informative at all, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to join me along in this self-improvement journey. If you had any of your own thoughts, ideas, or opinions, please be sure to leave a comment down below. I like to read and respond to all of them. If you're interested in more videos like this one where I talk about health related topics, be sure to check out this video right here where I talk about 5 exercises you can do if you're limited on time. If you're more interested in my most recent stuff, be sure to check out this video right here. But until the next time, this is Tyler Warlow, signing off.